Pow. What a interesting concept we have here. I'm setting some things up. Pow. And there I am. That is just me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Oh, it's been raining all day. Had a very busy day at work. So, I feel like we should have background music or something, but I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna rant for a little bit, and maybe use some of this footage for some videos. That'd be fun. And we'll see how it goes. I'm very into watching podcasts, so I figured I might actually try to do some myself. Yes. Wish I had a better setup though. Wish I had a better camera though, but life goes on. Alright. It's be so weird. I don't have any game to set up. I don't have any game to play. It's just me and my egg-shaped head. Alright, so I ended up getting 4 questions by 4 fans. Actually, about 3 fans. But should be good. Grabbing some tea. And I have about over 20 questions I want to go over. Things I want to talk about. And once we cover them all, I'm going to jump out of here and get some dinner because I have not eaten yet. Yes. So, what's up, guys? Duck's Opinion here. And this is Duckcast, a.k.a. the podcast for Duck's Opinion. Thought I'd do something different nowadays. And, well, let's go over some stuff I have to ask. In no particular order, the first thing we want to ask is this. This might be a good one to start off with, but I see a list, and this is the one I can probably ramble about. So, the first thing I want to talk about is, are there aliens? Are there other life forms in the world? And if there are they plentiful? Are they rare? Are we the only species here? Well, in my opinion, it's a very big opinion. If you look up in space, if you look up all the amazing telescopes we have, well, to be blunt, we hear these tiny, tiny, tiny microorganisms sitting here on the Earth, almost taking over it, like a whole bunch of ants on a piece of food. And if we can do that here alone on this tiny, tiny planet, and you look up in the stars and see billions upon billions of galaxies with tons and tons of planets in there, I do believe there are other life forms out there, especially small life forms like ants and bugs and stuff like that. Now, are there life forms like us out there? Well, I'm sure there are, but if you guys haven't realized yet, we are very, very small. We are very, very small, and the universe is very, very big. So it being so big, it is almost impossible to even get out there to go to the moon. It's even impossible out there to go to Mars. Elon Musk is trying, and I'd love to see him try in my lifetime, but it's very hard to jump around space. It could take you hundreds of light years just to go like to the next solar system, and we only live to be about 80, 90 at best. So of course, there's other life out there, but will it ever come here, find our little planet? Well, for you to be alive to witness that would be almost a miracle, because I don't think it will. The sun will turn into a super red nova one day. It'll destroy our planet. Humans will probably be long gone before then. And that's the fun part about the universe, is that it's so big, it's so massive, and it's been around for so long that there could have been tons of alien organizations, alien civilizations that have came and gone, been destroyed, conquered, and just faded to exist. And I'm sure it happens all the time in this universe. Millions of years pass by, they come and go in a blink of an eye, and we're here just for a second in the cosmotis look on life. Like, if you look up in the stars and see how long these things have been around, we've only been here little tiny second in the grand clock of life. So yes, there are aliens out there. Aliens that you couldn't even pretend to fathom or make up in your head, but we'll never see them because we're way too small and insignificant on this tiny little ball spinning in the earth, spinning in this universe. And I assure you, we're way too small to ever see them. I think it would be interesting, though, if we went to Mars and we found some kind of water. I heard that there's, frozen water on top of the Mars. And it'd be cool if we actually found some kind of fish or some kind of bacteria or just something that was like, yo, this isn't from Earth. This came from a different place. That'd be really, really cool. So talking about aliens, it gets us down to our another question. And that question is, what's the point of life? Well, if you ask me, I don't really think there is a point of life. Do you think maybe an ant is born? You could say the point of a colony of ants is to go to their colony, be the team player, worship their queen, and do what they're supposed to do, right? Well, as for humans, I really don't think there is a point to life. I think that we're all here extremely randomly, extremely luckily, and we're the ancestors of chimpanzees, for God's sakes. It seems like everything came eventually from the water. If you believe in evolution, eventually walked on land, and just everything came from everything. And to say there's a point of life would be a bit misleading. But if we had to have a point of life, I would say the point of life, due to our population control and due to us having almost 8 billion people on this planet, or is it million? I would say that the point of life is to have kids, because I feel like my life is meaningless without kids, especially when you're younger. You're 20, you feel like you're invincible. You go around, try to conquer the world, and then you have a kid, and suddenly the world's scary, because now, well, if something happens to them, it's going to ruin your whole world. And now you have to survive. You have to try harder to make sure that they survive, to make sure that they become the next version of you, the better version of you, to replace you. So I think the point of life is to have kids, to spread your seed. And actually, aren't we in a underpopulation right now? Is from what Elon Musk was saying, that we're in such a weird time that a lot of people don't want to have kids and a lot of people aren't having kids. In fact, China right now is going through an underpopulation to the point that within the next 10 or 15 years, they're going to have a lot of problems. There aren't going to be enough people to run society. And, well, hopefully Elon Musk and the Tesla bots will come in and start taking over. We can live in AI weirdness. We'll see. But I do think the point of life is to enjoy it, not to live in misery, and have some kids so you can understand what love is. What's up, Renee? Hope you're doing good, man. If you have any questions, we're going over some stuff. I'm not going to be on too long, just doing some podcast type stuff. Podcasts are usually funner for multiple people, but I are alone, so we don't have multiple people. But I do want to answer some fan questions. So, we're going to do the fan questions, friend questions. We have 5 questions asked by the audience. So first question is coming up by Positive Ducky. Ask, what's the next game you want to play? Man, podcasts are hard in your throat. All right. So, what's the next game you want to play? So, at the end of this month of April, there is a new Star Wars game. It's supposed to be like an open world Star Wars game. I'm not sure if it's going to be that good. I'm not sure if it's going to be that good at all. Last kind of open world game was Hogwarts Legacy, and I bought it when it first came out, and I regret buying it when it first came out. So I'm not sure if I'll play that new open world Star Wars game, but I like the idea of it being open world. I like the idea of being like a Star Wars survival game. It sounds like a good place to do it at. So I want to be checking that out. Definitely is one of my next games, but the big heavy hitter is next month. Next month, we have the follow-up to one of the greatest Switch games, one of the greatest Nintendo games ever put out, which is the follow-up to Breath of the Wild. It's finally having a sequel, and it's coming out next month. And I'm looking forward to that probably more than anything. And I'm sure there'll be some indie games that are going to surprise me that are going to come out between now and then. I'm sure there'll be a AAA game that I forgot about that's going to come out now in between then. But I'm excited for that new Star Wars, and especially that new Legend of Zelda. That new Legend of Zelda, I'm really excited about. And I think it's going to be really cool The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is I don't like the fact that they're taking the new Zelda game and making it all like in the sky. So they're taking the old map, they're like remapping it, redoing it, whatever they're doing with it. And then they're adding a whole bunch of stuff in the sky. And I don't really like the idea of the stuff in the sky. But I hope it works out good. I still have hope for the game, but I don't like when they kind of just like, we're going to stick stuff in the air. It's going to be really possibly a little too much for me to handle. But I still think it's going to be good. I just hope it's long. I hope there's a lot of meat to the bone. It was supposed to be just a DLC. So hopefully that new Zelda game is going to be awesome. And those are the next two games I'll be playing within the next few months. What's up, Commander? Not much happening. Talked about aliens. Talked about what's the purpose of life. Talked about the next games coming out that I want to play, which is going to be pretty cool. We're going over questions by people like you guys that asked. So if you got any questions to ask to add to what we're going over, let me know in the comments below and we will check them out. So, the next question is asked by Pokemon Gamer. And he says, do you have a favorite moment from YouTube? And if yes, what is that favorite moment? Now, moment. That's a big one because there's been so many moments, and it's so hard to say that when you have 15 years doing YouTube, 10 years on A Duck's Opinion alone. I mean, some of you guys aren't even that old, but it's hard to say. But when I read that, I like to think about the times on Xbox 360 when Minecraft first came out for Xbox 360, and we'd stay up all night. I remember we were digging like a moat. We would dig like a moat up in front of our castle. We'd spend nights after nights just digging up this moat to fill it up with water, just to have like water around the castle, which was hilarious. But that first Duckcraft world, we put so many hours into that, so many months into that. And that was back in the day when Minecraft 360 and getting online sucked. Every time you got online, you had a 50% of the game to just crash and you have to reload it. You would have like a whole entire load time where you have to wait like 2 minutes for each person to come in and out the game. It was tedious. It was crazy and it'd crash constantly, but those were some of the best times ever. We weren't even live streaming at all. It would just record videos and post them. They're still on the channel for, I think, Duckfin Gaming right now. That was pretty fun. It was. And honestly, like I said, there's been tons of moments on YouTube. Anywhere from like the time that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. Those were really fun times. The times that like Skyrim came out. Those were good times too. And there's been so many other times. It's so hard to even remember them all. If I was big enough, it'd be cool to actually go back and to look at all those times, like the famous videos and what's been good and what's been bad. But that also takes me into another question by Oakling Gaming, and it says, do you still play Ice Station Z? Now, that's a no. I don't even have a 3DS anymore. It's all about Switch, and I haven't even turned my Switch on in months. And I don't think I will until the new Zelda, but Ice Station Z was cool. It's really interesting that people still even ask about that game. I only covered it for maybe like a month, and I covered everything about it and moved on. It was a little indie game. It's not like something I can keep on playing. It was just a little indie game you move on from, and it probably only had like 2 or 3 updates ever, but it was still fun. I remember like there's a lot of 3DS games that were different. A lot of people weren't recording 3DS games, so it kind of stood out more. We had games like Ice Station Z. We had Cube Creator. I remember those were like the 2 main ones. And of course we covered like Animal Crossing, which is one of my biggest videos on how to make the most bells selling turnips, which is great. And I love the times with my 3DS, man. I remember the first time I got one of the first 3DSs, like when it first came out, and then I would kind of get like every little version of a 3DS. Now I do have a 2DS around here somewhere, but I don't play that stuff anymore. We moved on to Switch, which was the handheld. That was the successor for the 3DS, and that's when I stopped doing it. But I don't play Ice Station Z anymore. But that was a really fun zombie survival game. It was really fun learning the ropes of that game, going around and getting murdered by zombies. But it was also fun when you actually unlocked the helicopter and you could fly at all the spaces, get all the stuff, get your own place down. But that was just a small indie game. They could have did a lot with that game, and I think a game like that would fit really good on a server like Roblox. And I'm pretty sure there is probably tons of games like that, but it'd been cool if Ice Station Z had like building mechanics to where you could build your own base, possibly. And I wish that the zombies were a little bit better. They were very, very weak. They were just basically, they'd run at you and you could blow them up. They could get to you really easy. And it just wasn't really that hard once you start getting everything laid out. But that was a really good game to play for a week, and it was really, really fun. And I appreciate that question, Oakley Gaming. That's really, really cool. What's up, Ethan? We're doing good. A bit hungry. When we finish all these questions, we're going to jump off and get some dinner. Talk myself out of not ordering Lenops, because every time I order Mexican food, it's always a hit or miss when I order Mexican food. Because sometimes you get the best taco in the world. It's filled with great chicken. They give you like extra cheese on top and it's perfect. And sometimes you'll get like the splash of cheese on it. You open the taco, it's filled with like all these weird gross green vegetables that like ruin it. And has a little bit of chicken in it. So there's no consistency in that place. So it really kind of draws me down to not want to eat at that place. They need to step it up. And it's all about consistency. You want a nice, yummy, thick taco. You don't want some nasty little bottom of the barrel chicken with a whole bunch of like greens and like tomatoes in it. That's disgusting. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. It's like, here's all your tips from the day, because Uber's the only one that's actually good and DoorDash kind of sucks. But I'll probably make some SpaghettiOs with either green beans or mashed potatoes with a piece of bread, because that's normally my go-to food. But consistency, man. I wish more places was consistent with the food they make, which is why I'm okay with robots kind of taking over restaurants, because each time they make something, it will be exactly right each time. Like, robots need to start taking over McDonald's, Burger King, and all the fast food stuff like Wendy's, and just have supervisor people that get paid like $20 an hour to actually be there and to make sure everything's going good, and to restock the machines and make sure nothing messed up. I think that will be the future, and I hope I don't die before that future comes. And I think it's already kind of started. Like, recently when I went to Walmart, I actually used self-checkout. Now, if I get 10 items or more and my cart's full, I'm going to need to use the lanes so people can kind of help with that. But if I have like 10 items or less, I always use self-checkout. And even at Burger King and stuff, they're always like, hey, place your order here. Even like Panera Bread, place your order here. And then you go pick it up and you get your order. And I think that's going to be the future soon, especially if people aren't having as many kids as they used to, and there's not going to be enough. There's going to be too much work for people to do compared to how many people there are to work. So a first question on actually the comments is that a dog tag? Dog tag, I have two of them in the pictures of my kid. This is not going to probably focus, but that's Harley pushing Luna. I have another one over here. I want to do a colored one soon. I want to get another one. And this one is Luna and Harley sitting on a horse in their room. So it's my daughters. My daughters are always on my heart, and so that's where it lays. And I do have a couple more like little things. I like this stuff from I have like this chain here. But sometimes when I wear stuff like this, I just don't feel. I don't know. I just don't feel like myself. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I like to have chains. Sometimes I just don't feel like myself. So when I have my daughters on my heart, I definitely feel like myself more. And sometimes I wear little bracelets like this sometimes, but not really. I don't know. It's hard. Sometimes I can't be motivated to even put on cologne. So it's like... So I have one more question from the community that I asked for some questions. The last one's for Oakley Gaming again. And they asked favorite memory from playing Minecraft on the 360, which, to be honest, I kind of answered that a minute ago, didn't I? Oh, I did answer that already. But honestly, though, it's not just, that first Duckcraft, but it's all the Duckcrafts. You know what I mean? We have made over 10 plus Duckcrafts alone on creative mode, not less survival mode. And every single one of those maps have hours upon hours of builds, of sprites, of towns, of signs, of just great times and great memories from all our amazing subs throughout the last 15 years. People that grew up with me, people that I may never see again, never heard from me again, people that came and stuck around for years, people that are still around, that are hardly here, but some of them are still around. And some of you guys recently even played on the recent Duckcraft, which I call Duckcraft 2023. And we might get into that again one day. I don't know. Maybe we won't. I mean, we went from building like the smallest stuff to having like my first Minecraft videos of like how to build a house to literally building the entire Adopt Me set on Roblox, to even attempting to build Bob's Burgers. We did get Wonderwolf done, the huge theme parks from Bob's Burgers. So, I mean, it's been crazy. We've probably built 100 castles. We've probably built so much stuff on Minecraft 360 that it's just, if there was a list, like when you die and you get to see all the lists of like all the times you drunk an icy, all the times you kissed a girl. How about I get a list of all the castles I built, all the stuff I done on Minecraft? I want a gaming list of all that stuff. And I think that's what makes the internet really cool. Because back in the day, I didn't have much live streams. We'd have a lot of videos, but nowadays, all these kids still going around and making videos all the time and doing live streams. If they keep it up, when they're adults 10 years from now, they can go back and look at all their builds, all the amazing stuff they did. And some people might even have some of the Duckcraft 360s on hard drive, like Renee said. And it was cool because that one specifically, I did put it on a hard drive, and you could just go out and download it, and you could put it on your computer, and you could your Xbox, and you could be a part of it, and you could have that world that you were a part of, and that's pretty awesome. And that was before there was infinite worlds. These were all limited. They were a huge box, and they had walls that you couldn't go past, and you just fill up the entire box with all your builds and all your stuff. We had a huge roller coaster going around the whole thing, and man, I don't know if I'd be able to get back on that about probably busting out a 360, which I don't even have, but it'd be really cool to look back and see some videos in that world. Just really cool. You like spawn in, and it'd be like, this is who built it. And you go in the castle, and it had like the wall of names of the people that built the towns and stuff. Those are good times. And there's been many, many, many duck crafts. And I gotta say, my best moments on Minecraft in general were building the duck crafts and having a great time with it. And Duckcraft is the longest series we've ever done. Still going on, as you know, as early as a couple weeks ago. We did Duckcraft, I think, at least last month. So it has been really, really fun. We only been here for a year. Man, a year's not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Had my dog for about a year before I got rid of him, which isn't too bad. If you guys had any more questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm planning on cutting a lot of this stuff down, and not necessarily making shorts, but just making actual videos, because that's really, I mean, shorts aren't really what I want to pursue anymore. I don't want to, I'm going to post shorts, but I really just want to, do actual videos and longer stuff, because that's what I like to watch, man. I sat on Adopt Me today for about 3 hours, about probably 1 to like 4:30, which is even longer than that. And I ended up finishing my Karate Gorilla. He's a red neon now. And I was like, what am I going to do next? So I did the pink duckling. I got him done before I left to work. And then tonight I'm probably going to do the ox, because I had 4 oxes. I don't have a neon one. He's just rare. He's really easy to do. And then we're going to try to find something else to do. I was thinking about doing the Kishu, because I'm trying to make a mega one, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. There might be some other stuff I want to do besides him. He's a legendary. I like doing smaller stuff, but we'll see. I'm just going to knock out the ox tonight just to have something to do. I'm trying to make 100K on Adopt Me, and we're almost at 90K now. So I think we can get there. And it's just, it's really fun to just put on a good podcast and just let it play out, play some Adopt Me, get some food, get some sponsored by, get some gummy snakes with some sweet tea, and just put on a podcast and then chill and Adopt Me. I think that's why I like Adopt Me so much, because there's not a demand for it. It's not like some huge first-person shooter where it's like, oh my gosh, I have to be on hand all the time, try hard mode. It's just like relaxing, you know what I mean? And I think that is pretty cool. I like chill games like that. Chill games are like my favorite, especially when I'm getting old and stuff now here, Don't want to sit there and be stuck in a puzzle 24/7. I want to relax and vibe. Adopt Me kind of hits all those buttons for me. What's up, Zombie Killer 55? Was there 54 more zombie killers before you? Or is that like your favorite number or something? So you guys have any questions for this podcast, let me know, and we will answer them. I answered all the other fan questions, basically. And the only other questions I have are the ones I have for myself, which are a bit sad and a bit happy. So, good night, Ethan. Thank you for stopping by and liking the video. You're awesome. And let's get into my questions. And we're halfway down this podcast already, because I'm not going to go too much longer past about 10 o'clock. We're 25 minutes in. And I do want to download this video in a couple days and slice it up. And like I said, post videos for these that are not shorts. They're actually clips of the questions. And they probably won't get any views, but so what? Bye. That no views, so what, kind of brings me on to my next question. So this is 3 questions, and I'm going to try to answer them all in kind of like a pattern, okay? So the 3 questions are this. What do you want to do with your life? What would you do if you only had 20 more years to live? And to even throw it to a bigger loop, what would you do if you only had 20 months to live? And I'm trying to keep this positive. I'm not trying to stay negative, but there is sad stuff. Some people find out they have cancer. Some people find out they have some crazy stuff, and they have just a little bit of time to live. And sometimes, I'm not 60, obviously, but if you're around 60 or so, you probably don't have no more than 20 more years to live. Not many men make it to 80. Heck, most men die in their 60s. If you look at like the famous people, every time I hear on the news, this famous guy died, it's usually in their 60s. So it's knocking on wood though. My dad's about to turn 69, so, but also me and him have led different lifestyles. I've drunk and I've smoked a lot more than him. And I don't think he's ever drunk and smoked besides possibly secondhand smoke from his dad. So I wanted to go over the first one I said, which is, what do you want to do with your life? And I've been thinking about this one a lot because I don't think really, especially in this world, that I'm going to really succeed, at least in like a famous perspective on YouTube and music and life and love and any of that kind of stuff. So I just really want to pin down the points to what do I really want to do with the last, say, years of my life. I'm on a prediction and say that I might just have 20 years to live. That might be giving myself too much. But I've already lived for 20 years, so maybe I'll have 20 more years to go again. And so I'm really at a crossroads with that. I was thinking about that yesterday, and I posted some stuff in the comments in my channel talking about it, seeing how I spent half that time on this page alone. And I mean, we have almost 20 million views to show for it. We have almost 40,000 subscribers if we ever get there to show for it. And I do think that's great. I wish it was bigger. I wish we were bigger. We're kind of, in my opinion, probably the lowest we've ever been. But we're still here. We're still doing it. But do I want to continue to do this? Has been a big question for me. Because I was looking back on some videos today. One of my favorite artists, his name is William. He made a band called Aiden. I have the lyrics tattooed to Aiden right here in my hand. It says, "Here lies the waste. I will suffer for this taste." And you're like, that's kind of like emo, it's kind of some sad lyrics. But to me, all that means is it's a reminder that life is bittersweet. It's a reminder that no matter what goodness comes out of life, you will suffer for it, and it's just bittersweet. And that's kind of what that tattoo means to me. I wish I got something different, to be honest. On this side, I actually got my daughter's name, Alessa. So I don't know what I would have got differently, but he's putting out new music coming in a couple weeks with his like side project band called William Control. And William Control has been out for 10 years itself. I think he started around the time I started this channel, and his band Aiden has been gone for a long time. If you look at that poster right there, the one in the middle that's really small, that was from Aiden's last show, and that was their last album about 10 years ago, right when Harley was very, very young. So it's not quite 10 years, I think they had their last show, but it's getting there. And so I kind of took a look back, and I was looking back at the music he put out because he has, a new music that came out, and it made me realize how much of a different person I was back then. I was just starting this YouTube. Yeah, Harley was only like 3 or 4, and I was even still at some point with her mom still. And I just remember I was playing guitar a lot more. I remember I still had that dream in my mind that I wanted to do music. But then, for the remainder of that time till now, I did put out a couple albums myself. I did keep doing that, but I haven't even played a live show since I've had Harley. So it's almost been 10 years since I played my last show, or even really got on a stage and even play guitar at all. They have a lot of places now we can just go and just play a couple songs, and people take their turns at like bars and stuff. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. But it really made me think dang, I wasn't done with that. I was going back and looking at some of his music videos, and I was like, I wasn't done with that. I still wish I was doing that. And I'm also getting to the point where I'm getting older. Probably in 10, 15 more years, if nothing crazy happens, I'm going to be too old to do that stuff. I'm going to be too old to be getting on the stage, running around, trying to do this music stuff. And I'm already feeling that heat. I used to do a lot of that stuff alone. And I feel nowadays it's almost impossible to do all that stuff alone. So it's been really hard, and it's been making me look at what I'm doing now, doing just YouTube, doing this gaming stuff, playing Adopt Me all the time, playing just games and like just trying to cover everything and trying to be a YouTuber. I'm kind of thinking, I don't think that's what I want to do. And it goes to the question, if I had 20 years left to live, would I want to spend them just sitting here for another 10 years like I did on, A Duck's Opinion, trying to be a YouTuber? Just, constantly making new fans, constantly making new friends. Is that really what I want to do? And I was really going over that in my head yesterday. And I mean, I can still be here. I could still do this. But I'm at a crossroads here to where I only get my kids every Thursday and every other weekend. I have a big amount of time here that I can use to do other things. I have time to go play shows. I have time to go meet people and maybe even start another band. I have time to write more albums before I go. And I want to do that. There's an album I'm putting out called Marie, which I was supposed to put out years ago, but I got so down on it and so focused on YouTube and like lost in depression for a year that I haven't finished it. The songs are written, the songs are recorded. They need a couple guitar part fixes and they need mixing and mastering, and I need to do bass. But besides that, that's like a month worth of work. That's not a big deal. So I honestly think I'm going to get back into it, and I'm going to do YouTube a little bit less, because it's like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to make it in any of this stuff. I'm not going to become a famous YouTuber that has thousands of views constantly. I'm just going to have a handful of friends and we're going to listen like we are right now. And that's probably all I'm going to get to. You know what I mean? I've kind of already proven that. I worked my butt off for these last 3 months. I posted 5 shorts a day, did live streams almost every single day, only skipped the times I had my kids, and we're still even lower than we were before. So obviously that's not going to work out. So I need to stop worrying about that. Who cares, man? I want to do it my way regardless of what happens. And I think that's what's important. It doesn't matter if I have a huge audience or not. I want to do what I want to do. And when I'm on my deathbed, when I'm sitting there, whenever that is, I want to be like, I did what I wanted to do. I did it my way. I did my music. I did my thing. It didn't matter if someone watched. It doesn't matter if I blew up. It didn't matter. I did my thing. I had my time. I did what I said I was going to do. And I think that's what I want to focus on. I want to put out that new album. I want to start the next album. So I have a lot more stuff to say on my music. And I want to focus on that. That's not saying we won't continue to do YouTube stuff. Because what else am I going to do? You know what I mean? I still even kind of considerable want to do the Roblox only channel, which I haven't been putting near as much effort in as I want to. Because, I have a 4-year-old, and she's at least going to play Roblox for the next 5 years. So I'm going to be playing Roblox for the next 5 years regardless, because I have a 5-year-old. So might as well make some videos of it and try to see what I can do in the next 5 years on a Roblox only channel, and keep this channel like this. A bit more personal, a bit more music, a bit more of everything. And I think that's what I want to do with my life. I want to do different things. I want to get out there more in music. I want to share that music on this channel. I want to record my live shows, share them on this channel. And heck, maybe if I push hard enough, maybe I can meet some of you guys one day on the road, at shows. Who knows? Maybe I'm thinking a little too big. But first steps, getting back into it, getting that album done. So to end this little segment of those questions, here's the big one. If I found out tomorrow that I had about 20 months to live, which is a little less than, a year and a half? Let's even say 12 months. If I had 12 months to live, if I knew I was going to be dying of, say, cancer or something, and I had 12 months to live, and that'd probably only give me about 10, because those last 2 months are probably going to be hell. But honestly, man, here's a few things I'd do. First of all, I would want to write a goodbye album. And if you look over here to my man David Bowie, he did just that. He was dying of cancer. He knew he was dying of cancer. And so he wrote a goodbye EP called Black Star. And so Bowie did that. And I think that's one of the best records in history, because he was literally writing about his death. He was literally writing about that. And that's like such a passionate, such a crazy thing. And like that album is insane. You have like some songs that are just like hits that kind of don't even seem to be about death. They're just like amazing. And it does feel a bit rushed. I feel like when you're in that scenario, you don't have time to really spread it out and to work on it as much as you want. But I think that album was really amazing. And that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to put out my death album. And it's funny because I feel like every album I write is a death album because I don't know if I'll ever write another album again. So the end of every album, I always have a song that's about it being the end, including this new album, Marie. I have a song called Bedroom Floor. And Bedroom Floor, at the end of it, it has like this symphony of me just like saying goodbye to everyone and telling my kids goodbye and all this stuff. And it is about me dying in a sense. And so it has lyrics that says, my warmest condolements and thank you to all my friends. I'll kiss my kids one last time. I love you and goodbye. Go to sleep the end. Kind of wanting to pretend I don't wake up again. And so it's like, it's kind of like a death album in a sense. At least that last song is. I mean, it's a breakup album, but the last song is for me, just in case I never write another album again. And so I just love that idea. Like, if, everyone probably isn't going to know they're going to die. It's probably going to happen really spontaneous. And if you do get that little, you're going to die in a certain amount of time, it's probably going to come quicker than you think. So I'd really like to be able to write a death album knowing I'm actually going to die. I couldn't imagine the stuff I'd write and the stuff I'd say. Moving on away from albums, though, if I was also about to die, I would like to put out a segment of videos that are scheduled for a certain amount of time for my kids. I like to put up videos like, hey, you're a teenager now. How was your first date? How was your first prom? Like talking about how I feel about that. Like, hey, you're an adult now. And like all these like goodbye to my kids and all these like little things like, hey, how was your first show? Congratulations, you finished school, or like any of that kind of stuff for my kids as they age. Because I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. If I was to die in a year, Harley would only be 10 and Luna would only be 5. So I would love to just leave hundreds of videos until literally the day I die of just videos for them, for moments in their life and moments in their time, for when they might get married one day, for when they have their own kids, for when, they graduate school, from when they find, their first job, their first love, their first heartbreak, all that stuff I'd love to make little videos for. And I think that would be a beautiful thing I'd want to do, even more so than the music thing, because my girls are my life. They are my everything, and they mean the world to me, and they are why I am alive today. I really don't think that with everything going on in the world, and of how sad I used to be back in the day, I don't think I would have made it without them. So they are everything, and I would definitely want to give them those years and those memories of what I'd feel and what I'd think about these times, even if I wasn't there with them to experience it. But hopefully I am. I would really love to see those moments and be there to kiss my girls when they have a broken heart, to congratulate them when they do great things. And I'm doing that now. Harley's in karate. She's kicking butt at it. She got her new belt recently, and I was there to congratulate her and tell her she did a great job. She's doing good in school too. She's such a smart and beautiful girl, and I want to be there to cheer her on, and the same for sister Luna. You want to listen to the album? Can you listen to the other one too that I'm putting out? Can you not wait until I die to listen to the album? That'd be really cool. So, I have 4 more questions. We're about 40 minutes in, so we're going to do about this for about 20 more minutes. Then I'm going to get some dinner. If you have anything else to leave, and let me know in the comments below, and I'll answer the question. Starting off with Zombie Killer's question. Do I still play the PS5? No, I think I had the PS5 for maybe either 6 months or a year, but then I ended up getting my RTX computer, and the PS5 just became a Netflix machine after that. Yes, it has a couple hits there that you can only play on PS5, but I don't exactly think that is worth keeping it for, because the PS5 was like a $600 machine when I sold it. I bought it for $500, but it was so rare, and so many people wanted one at the time, that I ended up having to sell it just because it was worth so much, and I didn't want the PS5 to just be a Netflix machine because I had an RTX computer. So I ended up selling the PS5, and so I haven't played it then, but I haven't regretted it until about 3 months ago. I'll tell you why I regret selling my PS5. I regret selling my PS5 because of the fact that the PSVR 2 is coming out. And the PlayStation VR 2 looks incredible. And Harley has actually an Oculus 2, I think. I haven't played it yet, but I know she has one of her mom's. She loves it. But I think that would have been a great time to get into VR. And that's like a $500 machine. So it'd cost over $1,000 to get it now. And I don't think I'll be getting it when it comes out whatsoever. But if I had a PS5, I would have. So that's like the only time I really regret not having a PS5. But besides that, I do like the PS5. It was a great console, but I've just moved away from consoles. I'm like a PC, phone, tablet, Switch guy only. And I'm only on the Switch. I never play my Switch. Like right now, it's right here beside, like by my computer. It's dusty. It's dead. And the only time I'm turning it back on is for the next Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda that comes out next month. And that's the only time. That Switch is actually hacked. It's hacked, so I get all the games for free now, and we get them about a week early too. So I'll be getting The Legend of Zelda for free, and I'll be getting a week early. So can't even go online with that. Although I wish I could though, because I recently had one of my friends get into Animal Crossing, and I'm a huge Animal Crossing player. I have one of the biggest towns. That was my pandemic game. I put 400 hours into that game the first year it came out, and basically beat it to the point where I played it too much and I'm kind of sick of it. But I would have loved to get back into it with my friend, but I can't go online with it because I hacked my Switch, and that makes me sad. But still, we have other games we can play. But yeah, I definitely miss the PS5 sometimes, especially when it comes out to having the VR2 come out. But I move on to being a PC gamer instead of a console guy. But I grew up on consoles, man. The PS5 is so great. If that's what you're looking into and don't want to spend a couple grand on a nice computer, get the PS5. It's definitely worth it. But by saying that, I also say the computer's worth it too, because I bootleg a lot of stuff. I've definitely bootlegged enough free games to have basically made my money back with my RTX. I've also, when I first got it for the first 6 months, was mining crypto. So I did make a good bit of my money back on what I put into that computer. Positive Ducky says she had 200 hours in Animal Crossing. You must be pretty advanced in it then. I swear by 200 hours, man, I was changing the terrain. I had everything moved, set up. I had every single rock placed to where I wanted to place it. I had every spot in town filled up with something. I had everything upgraded and everything, like so much stuff done. That game is super addicting. It's very slow paced though. Very, very slow paced. But it was pandemic time. It was the great time for it. And Nintendo put that bad boy out right on time. So, what's up, Michael Jackson? Whoa, he's alive. Michael Jackson's alive. Oh my gosh, I think I was just listening to one of your songs the other day. 8 years ago, glad you're still at it. Yeah, man, we're at our 10-year anniversary now, and it's probably the lowest views and the lowest pay I've possibly gotten, but we are still at it. It's like I was mentioning earlier. What else am I going to do? It's still fun. I still got some friends here. It's all good in the hood. So that's it's all good, man. Sucks though I still don't have the PS5. I don't think I'll have another PS5. Like I said, if anything, I'll just upgrade my computer. But, you know, it's kind of rough though, because I feel like I'm kind of getting out of gaming. It's just like I used to be such a hardcore gamer, but as I get older, there's other stuff I want to do. Like I mentioned with music, and take care of my kids and work more and go on dates and meet people and just do more stuff like that. And I'm not saying I'll never not play a game again, but it's just games have become really, really kind of just, here's a remake of the same game. Here's a remake of this. Here's this and this. And every game kind of feels the same now. Like every year we have maybe like 5 games that are just absolutely amazing. They'll blow us away. Like I'm sure the Zelda will do that. I'm sure the new Bethesda game, was it called Starlink? I'm sure that'll do that. And there's games that we will have to play no matter what. Like I'm going to play Grand Theft Auto 6. Whether I stop playing games fully, which I'm not going to do, if I did, I would still come back to play Grand Theft Auto 6. So I'm always going to be a gamer. But games have just been so oversaturated with the same thing over and over that it's become a bit less fun. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was so crazy seeing the innovation in games, and I really feel like we haven't had that big change in gaming like we used to back when I first really got into gaming. Now it's just, hey, prettier graphics, RTX, but it's the same exact game. It's the same survive here, shoot this, do this puzzle. There hasn't been innovation in games in a long time, and I'm really looking for that. I don't think VR is going to be it. I don't know what the next innovation is going to be, but I'm excited to find out. And people are taking their time doing it. Like, I think Starlink, the next Bethesda game, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be Skyrim in space. It's going to be Fallout in space. And I think that's going to be insane. It's going to change the game. I do feel that way. But it doesn't mean other companies are going to follow through. Grand Theft Auto 6. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to change everything. It's going to change how people play games probably. It's going to change the online community. You know how big Grand Theft Auto 5 is. I have a Grand Theft Auto 5 poster right there and in front of me. That's the Grand Theft Auto 5 map for my head right there. But that game's 10 years old. It got so popular that it took them a decade to make a new version of that game. I miss the times you used to get DLC like the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and Damned DLC. I miss those times back in the day, man. So I have high hopes for Grand Theft Auto 6, but I just hope Grand Theft Auto 6 online doesn't take over. You know what I mean? I really hope they break the boundaries. I hope every single building you go inside, I hope everyone's voice acting, and I hope it's really, really alive. One of the biggest features in Red Dead Redemption 2 is the feature that you can basically say hi to everyone and interact in a positive, negative way. You can be like, hey, nice looking hat. Or you can be like, oh, you suck, and like spit at them or stuff. And I want them to take that even farther. I want there to be more interactions with everyone, man. I really think that was one of the coolest things in Red Dead Redemption 2, and I love Red Dead Redemption 2. We might even just live stream that one day. It's an amazing game. But I'm really hopeful for these games. There will be next, innovative games, but it becomes less and less and takes longer and longer to become. And at this rate, Grand Theft Auto 7, I'll be on my deathbed by the time that comes out. So that's what I'm saying, man. Games take longer to make. There's a lot more junk out there, and so I play a lot less games nowadays. I wish it was as strong as it used to be, but it's just not. And it does make me sad. But it doesn't mean that we still can't enjoy the good ones when they come out and have other hobbies, which I think is really, really, really kind of cool, Like I said, I can't wait for the next Legend of Zelda coming out. I see in the previous video how they're innovating it and making that better, and we'll be covering that hopefully. And I can't wait for the next Grand Theft Auto 6 to come out, hopefully next year. And also Starlink. I think Bethesda is going to blow it out the water with Starlink. I think it's going to be amazing. All right, so let's see where we're at. We have about 12 more minutes of this podcast. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'm going to answer the last 4 questions that I wrote for myself, I guess in the order that they are, that I wrote them down. I'll go ahead and tell you the questions that I wrote down, and we'll go over them, and I'll cut these videos up later on and post them later on this week. The questions are this: what makes you happy? What makes you sad? What is God? And what's it like to have kids? So I'll answer those 4, and I'll answer anything in the next 15 minutes you guys leave in the comments below. Appreciate everyone coming by. Appreciate everyone liking this video. This is completely different than what we normally do. I'm sitting there just talking to you guys about how I feel, how I think, what I believe in, the passion I feel for stuff, the sadness I feel for stuff. And I think that makes it more real. You guys are my friends. This makes it more personal. This isn't just me, oh, look, I'm playing Gas Station Simulator again. We beat that game yesterday. It was fun. I loved it. But I like this too. I love podcasts. I watch them constantly, hours upon hours a day. I feel like they make me smarter. I love learning from them. And I wish I had someone sitting beside me to talk to about stuff. I wish I wasn't just rambling alone. That'd be amazing. But this might be the start of it. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll blow up. Maybe I'll start going meeting people and getting on podcasts. I doubt it, but you never know. So leave your questions below, and let's get into the first question. So the first question is, what makes you happy? So for me personally, of course, I think you guys know the answer, which is going to be my girls. I have 2 beautiful girls who are 4 and 9, Harley and Luna, and they do make me happy. But keep in mind that having kids is very stressful. It is not always being happy. Just, oh my God, I love them. They're precious. Oh, no. Luna's at a very crucial stage right now. She says no a lot. She demands to get her way. And I have to be a good father and be like, no, you can't do that. And I have to let her cry. I have to be able to put her in timeouts, If she might take a huge giant poop in her diaper, and I'll tell you, those aren't happy times to clean up her diaper. I'll tell you. She's in the middle of potty training right now, and when she falls and get hurt, it can be very sad. But the love you have for your daughters gets you through that stuff. The love you have for your children gets you through those terrible times. And when I'm sitting there and she's like in my lap and we're like watching her sister do karate and I'm just kissing her and loving her and she's being great, or she's playing Roblox with me, or maybe we're wrestling on the bed or playing with toys, that stuff makes me happy. that love from your kids you can't get from anywhere else, you know? And what else makes me happy is playing music and working out in a sense. Now, what I mean by playing music is if you're having a bad day and you pick up your guitar and you start jamming, or even if you turn on your favorite song, I love listening to music too, that can just change your mood 100%. It could also even change your mood to, like, if you hear a sad song, it can make you even sad. But to put on some good music and just rock out and dance around, or to pick up a guitar and just sing out your sorrows, is some of the best feelings in the world that really do hit that vibe to make you happy. Now, happiness is something I've been trying to find a lot more of because I've been in depression a lot. But having someone to talk to, much like I'm doing now, having a friend to talk to, having a girlfriend that actually you can talk to all night on the phone with, or like even face to face with, these are key elements in life to happiness. Other people, communication, being together can make you very happy. You can also disagree, get into fights, it can make you very sad, but I think happiness also comes from spending time with others and not counting hobbies, whether you're playing games, whether you're drawing an awesome drawing. It might not be the best drawing in the world, but you keep practicing, get better. And being a gamer, you might want to go on skateboard, ride some bikes. You might have some hobbies of going out just to clubs and dancing. All this type of stuff, it can make you happy. And I really think life's about finding those things. Now, moving on from happiness, what makes you sad? I think a lot of things in this world makes us sad, but I think a lot of these things are kind of forced on you by social media. So say if you get on Twitter and you see something that upsets you and you start commenting to it and you start agreeing with people that agree that this is a bad thing, social media is just going to feed you more of it. You're going to get more and more of that stuff you hate. And the next thing you know, your whole entire feed is full of stuff that just makes you sad, stuff that makes you upset to really get those comments and get those interactions going. And I think social media, in a sense, is actually starting to make me very sad. And I'll give you an example. Another example is TikTok. Like, I can get on TikTok and I can find joys in it, but the things that make me joy on TikTok are the same things that make me sad. So I get on TikTok, I'm like, oh, look at that. There's a pretty girl dancing in a bikini. That's really good. But then I'm like, oh, but that's not good. That also makes me sad because of the fact that I'm not going to talk to that girl. She's not in my life. Her boyfriend's the one recording this stuff. She's not going to be like my friend. She's not going to be my next girlfriend. She's not going to be like anything to me at all. And I feel that way about when I go out to do DoorDash. I go out and do DoorDash and I like see a pretty waitress and it kind of upsets me more than anything because right now I'm like kind of in a position where I'm super depressed, kind of looking for a girlfriend, and it makes me sad because I wish I didn't feel that way. I wish I had a girlfriend because when I had a girlfriend, I didn't have to worry about other girls. And that's like the coolest feeling. You know, that's a good feeling that's like you don't have to worry about other girls. But we're all, males especially, we're programmed. It's in our DNA to be attracted to a female, to want to mate. And when you have someone there to love and to care about, I don't have to worry about other girls. And I love that. But when you're single, and you've been single for years, which most men are, 60% of men are single, while 80% of girls are taken. And if you put in perspective, that's 20% of girls that are single. And they're probably out of your age range. They're probably not even live near you. So that percent drops to like 5% of girls out there. That's a very hard percent. That's a very lot of hit and misses. Hey, you want to go out? No. You want to go out? That's like 1 in 10 girls you ask out might be single. And they might not even be into you. They might even be bald guys. They might not be into someone older doing DoorDash. They may be looking for something else. They might not be wanting to date at all. So even seeing pretty girls in public makes me sad nowadays. And I really hate that. I wish I didn't feel that way. And that makes me sad. And also, the state of the world makes me sad. The way that we're always like right on the edge of World War III. We're fighting Ukraine and Russia going on. We're fighting even ourselves in poverty. We're fighting to be like everyone's stepping on each other's foot. Like, no, I want to be the next YouTuber. No, I want to be the next movie star. No, I want to be the next rock star. Get out of my way. I'm the next rock star. Listen to this song. Listen to this song. Listen to this song. Hey, listen to my stuff. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to me. Like, it's all just everyone to do the same thing. And it just makes people depressed because you go on YouTube and you see thousands of views from people. They show you only the trending stuff. So you go, oh, look at all that. This guy posted this and he got 1 million views. I'm going to do that. And you post that, and at best you get a couple thousand views. You're like, wait, what? And you post it again, it gets like 2 views. What? I posted a short. It's the same thing he posted, but it got 2 views. Why? And that kind of stuff makes you sad as well, which is why I'm trying to stay away from that stuff a bit more. I mean, I'm gonna want that feeling. Everyone wants to be famous in a sense, but it's in a point where it's just starting to make me sad nowadays instead of happy. And it can be rough. It can be rough having to deal with social media and trying to live up to everyone's standards. And I'm sure girls feel the same way. Could you imagine just being a casual girl growing up who's maybe like 14, 15, or 16, and you look on there and you see all these 18, 19-year-old girls getting thousands of likes, and they have all these filters on, all these makeups on. You're like, oh my God, that girl looks perfect. How am I ever going to look as good as her? And I'm sure that's very discouraging to a lot of young females out there. And especially in sports, when we're at this weird time where everyone's freaking out about gender, and we can literally have guys competition in girls sports. And like, how is a girl supposed to compete against a guy? So now not only are they competing against other women, they're competing against guys. So I know it's also a harder time with girls, but it's also, a bit easier life, I think, being a girl, because a guy really has to struggle to get a date, to get a job. It's just a bit easier of a girl, I think, but also they have their problems too. Every girl's trying to be the next 1% on OnlyFans. Every girl's trying to be the next huge pop star, the huge next, what's that pretty girl from Wednesday? The girl that played Wednesday? Man, how do I not forget her name? But every girl wants to be the next Miley Cyrus. Every girl wants to be the Jenna Ortega, the biggest hit that everyone falls in love with. But, sometimes you got to be Brittany that works at Panero. You know what I mean? All right. I have about 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, and I have 2 questions left. So if you have any questions in the comments below, I'm probably talking to myself, but that's okay. We'll use this footage to post later for the podcast. And I had fun doing this. About to go eat some food. Appreciate anyone that stuck along this whole time. 2 questions. One being religious and one being what's it like to have kids. So we'll get into the kids to end it. I think that'll be a good way to end it. And so the second to last question is, I don't even know why I came up with this one, but I think it's important. What is God is the question. So God is so many different things. It really is. God is a tool that was made up to control humans back in the Egyptian days to help get the pyramids done. How are you going to keep a slave motivated if they're going to be slaves all their life? Wouldn't you just jump off the pyramid, kill themselves, try to assassinate the president, do something, right? Well, tell them that, hey, I know this life's hard, but there's a God out there. And when you die, if you do what we say, you'll go to heaven. You'll have 21 virgins. You'll have all the witches in the world. So if they just make up this false God and lie to these slaves, it will keep them motivated to keep working. And then within 2,000 years, that lie keeps getting spread and humans keep believing it to where they've made up 3,000 different religions, and you get to pick which religion would you like. If you're born halfway across the world, the opposite of America, you're going to believe in a different God. If you're here in America, you might be Christian. There's a lot of Jews out here. You might be Catholic. There's just tons of religions that at any moment you can change. You can be a different religion. You can read about them all. You can learn about the history of them all. And it's kind of like reading a Harry Potter book. Is Harry Potter real? Was there really witches, magic? Is that real? No, it's not real. But I'll tell you, there's tons of Harry Potter fans. There's tons of movies. There's tons of games. There's tons of merchandise. It may not be real in that sense, but it's definitely real and alive here on Earth. People love Harry Potter. People love that games. They have Harry Potter rides, movies. They're coming out of a Harry Potter sitcom series coming up soon. What is real? So, yeah, heaven and hell might not actually be real, which I very can tell you it's not. And God themselves aren't real to the sense, but there's 3,000 gods in this world that humans made up. And whether they're fiction or not, they're real to a lot of people. And I think that really helps people keep going. Like, for instance, if someone lost their child, what would be the point of them keep going? That's the most devastating and messed up thing you could ever possibly lose in your life, is your child. So how would you keep going on? Well, what if I told you there's You can go into a church and they'll say, hey, we are so sorry what happened to your kid, but you know what? She's with God now. And when you die, you'll go to heaven and you'll be reunited with your kid again. They love you and they're looking down on you and they want you to do the right thing. And they're telling you this, and I've been telling you this, that gives you hope to keep going. That gives you passion to keep going and to believe things will be okay. Whether it's true or not, I think that's one of the biggest points to a God. Now, to put it on my aspect, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God whatsoever. I believe in science. I believe in facts. I believe in changing your mind if new evidence comes up. And to be blunt, I know what happens when you die. I know a lot of people will say, oh, no, you don't. I've seen death. We all have seen death. I treat death as your brain. Your brain is a hard drive. It's a phone. Let me ask you something. These pictures I have on my phone are like my daughter or whatever. If I destroy this phone right now, and it's not synced to the cloud or nothing, if I destroy this phone right now, I'll lose every picture I have on here. I won't even remember half of them. I'll lose every picture I have on here. I won't be able to get that back. If I take a hard drive that has a whole bunch of terabytes of movies, games, and whatnot, and that's destroyed, I will not be able to get any of that stuff back. I believe the brain works the exact same way. When you die, your brain is destroyed. You're either buried underground and eaten by maggots and it's gone. You're either cremated and your brain's completely gone, or you might have a terrible accident and your brain's destroyed that way. When that hard drive, your brain is destroyed, you aren't going to remember gods. You're not going to remember heaven. You're not going to see anything again. You won't even know how to walk. You won't even remember how to see your kids' names. That hard drive is gone. We are flesh and bones. And so knowing that, scientifically, knowing that disproves any heaven or hell. That disproves any God. It's obviously man-made. These are man-made written scriptures. If you go to any other planet, you're not going to find gods unless the aliens there made them up themselves. That's a earth thing. And so that's how I look at it. I look at it as God's a tool to help you keep going. God's a tool to enslave people, and it can also be evil. Every single day I hear about some priest abusing kids, but I understand it a bit more now I've gotten older. I used to attack it a lot more being an atheist. I used to hate it. I used to go on rants about how much it sucked, but I understand how it can be used as a tool to help people keep going, and people's fear of death is really hard to get over. It's hard to accept you're going to die one day, and people need that religion to get through. So that's my thoughts on what is God. So we're at the end of this podcast. I've successfully did it. I've successfully been over an hour of me ranting on a podcast. Didn't get many questions. There's probably no one watching this, but I'm going to cut this stuff down. This is technically my first podcast. I heard someone say that people, like 90% of podcasters don't make it past their third podcast. And even less than that, don't make it past their 20th podcast. But if I can keep this up, be consistent, maybe get some guests on to talk to and not have to take all the questions on myself, get different opinions that we can bounce back and forth to, I think doing podcasts can be really fun. Maybe someone will see this and want to invite me to their podcast. You never know. So we're not going to take any more questions. We're going to end this on my last question, and it's a good one. What's it like to have kids? I mention them quite a lot in this podcast because they mean a lot to me. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and having kids is the most terrifying thing you can possibly do with your life, okay? To be blunt. Because I'm at a pandemic where I have 2 kids with 2 different girls. Those 2 different girls I'm not with. I'm not dating 2 different girls right now. I'm dating no one. I've been single for 2 years at this point. I haven't got a hug from a different girl. So both my kids, they're sisters, but they're also half sisters. Now that doesn't really matter because they love each other and I keep them together no matter what. That's my goal, is to make sure they stay together. Because if I die tomorrow, they'll never see each other anymore. Like, my 2 baby mamas are not friends at all. So they would hardly ever see each other. So me being alive is keeping them together and them being sisters. And they've been growing together. It's been great. It's been 4 years since Luna's been alive. And she's been growing with her sister, and that's been great. But their moms just recently have a kid. They both had boys. They both had them in the same month of each other. And they both obviously have different guys, me not being their father. So both my daughters now have brothers and sisters. And while Harley, I don't really think Harley's going to really have her childhood with her brother because by the time her brother can walk, she'll be a teenager, and she won't be a child, she'll be a teenager, but she'll still be there with each other. And fun fact, it was a weird coincidence, but both my daughters, or both my baby mamas named their new baby boys Jasper, which is crazy. I know Luna's mom did it because she was a huge Twilight fan. I'm not sure why Harley's mom did it, but it's so crazy because it's not like they're friends. It's not like they talked about it. It's complete coincidence. And Renee asked, will the Jaspers ever meet? I honestly don't think they will. Like, since me and Luna's mom broke up, I have not seen Harley's mom and Luna's mom together. Like, I mean, maybe a couple times on a blue moon they might, but it's not like I'm ever going to have Jaspers and be watching them. They're not my kids to take care of. Luna and Harley will. Now, yes, I've seen Harley's brother a few times already because, I have to do karate with Harley, and her mom's going to be there. I'm going to Easter tomorrow with Harley and her mom, and of course the baby's going to be there, and everyone's going to be like, oh, the baby, that's how it is. And I don't do stuff with Luna's mom at all. Her family isn't nice like Harley's family is. I don't think none of them care about me, but that's not, I don't get invited to stuff on Selena's side. And maybe I will when Luna gets older. Luna's only 4. When you have a 9-year-old, there's a lot more stuff they do. So I'm sure, there will be more interactions, but if the Jaspers will ever meet, I really don't think they will. They might just maybe a couple rare times, but they'll probably be a lot longer in their life, a lot later in their life if they ever do, because they're just not my kids. So I'll hardly ever get to see them. But what I mean by that is, like, I got on a little tantrum there, but going back to, like, what's it like to have kids, it's terrifying, and it's even more terrifying when you're a weekend dad. Because, like, it really sucks not to be able to raise your kids properly. It also gives me time to go out and do other adventures and try not to just waste my life missing my kids. Like I said, I have time to actually write albums, put out shows. I'm not just taking them to school every day and just having a couple of seconds, having time to myself. Because right now I have plenty of time to myself. But when I have my girls over, I don't have a second. I don't even have an hour to do like a live stream when I have them. They're always just on it. And they go to bed at like 10 or 11. I only have a couple hours to really be by myself. So it'd be completely different if I did have to raise my kids, like, just with their mom. It'd be a whole different thing. So I really, in a sense, don't even know what it's like to just be like a whole family like that. Especially when it comes to school. There's a lot of stuff you miss. Having kids is terrifying. It's not only the stuff you miss, but if something were to happen to any one of them, I don't think I could stay here. It'd just be too heartbreaking. It'd just destroy me so much. Your kids aren't supposed to go before you. Your kids are supposed to bury you. So it makes you live life in fear, especially when you're not with them all the time. You're not the one taking care of them. Who knows who their mom's going to date? Who knows who's taking care of the daughter? Who knows that they're a proper person that may hurt them or take care of them properly? I mean, Harley's mom's been through 10 different guys since me and her broke up. And even Luna's mom has been through a good number of guys before she got with the guy she's with and had a kid with. So who knows? Girls go through a lot of guys. That's what girls do. Girls are the alpha when it comes to dating. Guys aren't the ones. Guys are the ones that are lucky to even have a date. So it's terrifying. Like, I don't know where Luna is. I haven't talked. I mean, I assume she's at her mom's house, but I haven't talked to Luna in a while. I'm not going to see Luna until Thursday. It's terrifying. You always have that fear that you're going to get that call being, oh, Luna got hurt. You have to come to the hospital or something even worse. I don't want to have cops show up at my house. The first thing I'd ask is, are my kids okay? But at least if Harley, she has a phone, I can kind of communicate with her. But I don't think Luna's going to have that for quite some time. So having a kid, especially kids that you aren't with all the time that live with you, is terrifying. It's amazing to have their love. It's amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. It goes past any girl I've ever loved in my life. The love for your kids is amazing, but it's a terrifying thing, especially when you're not raising them. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to wake up every day, have to take Harley to school every day, pick her up, come home, do whatever the homework is, and do the normal dad stuff. I guess I'm not meant for that, but I couldn't imagine. Hey, knock on wood, maybe I'll meet a girl and have another kid before I'm 40, but I doubt it. But when saying that, I never thought I'd have Luna. It happened so quick. I was working at a job, met this girl. Next thing I knew, within a month of me dating her, she got knocked up. We had a kid. It happened so quick. You never know. But yes, what's it like having a kid? It's one of the most beautifulest, loving, scariest, terrifying, give you a heart attack every day, wonderful things in the world. And with that, we've successfully done our first podcast. And I kind of consider all my live streams podcasts. But if I'm playing a game, it's really not a podcast. It's me just rambling playing a game, right? This was a one-on-one of everyone. And I appreciate everyone that stopped by, including Positive Ducky, Zombie Killer, Renee, Commander, and anyone that may have stopped by that I didn't notice. Appreciate you guys coming by and talking. I don't know when the next time we're going to do a live stream is. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. I do get my kids next weekend, so it won't be next weekend. But we'll see what happens. And I'll talk to you guys then. Thank you guys for hanging out. And if you like these podcast style, maybe we'll do some more soon. Dusk can fly. Like and subscribe. I'm going to get out here. And you guys have a great day. Peace.